Hello, welcome back, everyone. Let's see, I'm gonna respond to some of the comments, but so basically, I'm just gonna take a look tonight to see what's going on, like as far as with price action, making sure that we're still on, at least on course for what the things that we expected. And I'm gonna take some Q&A because I haven't done this in probably about a month. And normally I would come on and I take questions, kind of see, get a feel for the community and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to go through some of the price action that we're seeing and we'll go from there. So this here's a pull up of the actual short chart here. Overall, we're up 0.50%. We're still hovering around 5 million. If we go take a look here at price action, you'll see that we did in fact get the bounce here for pretty much right around where we thought, so like right below the 6 cent level. We didn't have that dip down, but you see we had a rejection and we came back up, and now we're trending for literally like the third time. We're getting having some sideways motion here between that 6 level and the 6.6 level, and this is shaping up to be our strongest level of support. We've had some rejections down here, but normally it takes a lot to get us to even stay within this. I'll say the 6 to the 5 mark. And even so, when we do, we have very, very strong rejections, and that's with shorts increasing. So I guess we're going to see, let me zoom in here. The next thing will be for, because this candle isn't fully formed yet. So the next thing will be probably the next day or so to see if we're going to get another green candle. And then if we get another green candle, we can expect to kind of consolidate here. Unless like shorts come back in, but as you can see, shorts they came back in slightly, but it's actually a big step down from where they were. So overall, it looks like the market is cooling off. We had somewhat of a relief rally today across the market. So overall, it was pretty green. I know I've been talking about AMC as well. Let's take a look here. And this is kind of what we've been expecting. This is when we pretty much break below that 830 mark, which we did briefly, and we immediately got a green candle. That's if you guys have been following the videos, for those of you that hold AMC, you know that below that 830 mark, that's when technically that's like the battleground for the stock. And historically, we do not stay below that mark very long. And we have I won't say a violent upswing, but we certainly have an upswing to, I'd say, I think it's like between like 3 to 5 days. But as you can see, we're down roughly 24 hours, and we immediately started getting green candles here. Normally, that's when they meet the most resistance, is when they get it below that 830 mark, and it's very difficult to go down from there. I'm not saying they can't, but it just takes a lot more effort. And I believe that with even if they did get enough of the shorts to get it down further, price action will be something similar to what you're seeing in Dogecoin. This happens in all assets. It has a certain point where it's just like it's such a great deal, you'll just have massive amounts of people start pouring into it, and it becomes really difficult to get it down any lower. And I think that 5 cent is that mark for Doge, and 830, 833, 832 is that mark for AMC. So let's see. AMC options are rigged, have to do far out call 6 months or longer. Yeah, it's been several times that it's been, I won't say it's been proven, but it's been some significant evidence that they'll try and get especially when we're battling very tightly. Like on Friday, they'll wait until like the last 5 minutes of market open, and you'll start seeing all these sell orders come in out of nowhere to get us below like $40, $35, and then a bunch of contracts would expire OTM. So it's definitely been some manipulation there historically. And if you time it right, you can do shorter ones and it can make you some money. But overall, you're absolutely correct. It's better to go long term, especially when you know that there's manipulation going on in an asset. Hello, everyone. Like, follow, share. Thank you. I appreciate it. So do you think Doge will spike to at least 50 cents after Doge 1 launches? Is it landing on the moon with equipment and supplies? I don't know about 50 cent. I expect there to be a huge amount of volume coming in, but I just don't know, how the shorts are going to respond. And then I also know that the majority of the volume coming in, especially around that time, if they're timing it around Doge 1, that's going to be hype volume or swing traders. And so even if it did spike up to that, it would be very, very short lived, because if they are waiting on that type of catalyst, they're certainly in the asset for a short time. So I believe we can see a spike for sure. I don't know about 50 cent though, because I think that even when we have spikes to around like 8 cent stuff like that, we're seeing 200% increases in shorts and stuff. So I can only imagine if we were to break through 10 cent and that resistance level at 12 cent, I imagine they would go absolutely. I imagine the short marker would go up the same way the rocket would. So I do believe we can see a spike, possibly even in the double digits for sure. But I just don't know about 50 cents though. Let's see. Whenever we get a small bounce, it always seems to get retraced down to a new low. Which one are you referring to? AMC, Doge? Not sure which one you're referring to. If you have questions, you put them in the chat, or if it's like a ticker or something I can look up, just let me know and I'll take a look at it. I'm going to be on here for about, I'll say about half an hour. So see, down 1,500 on AMC calls, expiration 9/16. Is there hope? It depends on when the strike prices are, but as far as for the AMC 9/6, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's like there's no hope, but it's just that with the price action here, we are technically, historically, we're due for a run at these price levels that we're at. When that happens, it's hard to say, but the 9/16 option on AMC, aligning it with history, it should be okay, but it's just what we've seen them. I won't say this because we've even seen this in the market a little bit last week, when they'll start, I won't say hedging, but they'll start, just playing like tennis with the market, with the markers and stuff like that, and you'll start seeing like 10 million on the buy, and then like 8 million sell, and then another 2 million sell, and then you'll start seeing this like slowdown, even like kind of to break trend, and then as soon as enough people start rolling options and stuff like that, then the market will continue. So it's not. I'm not saying that we're going to see that, but it's certainly hope. But just keep in mind that they do tricky things to kind of prolong paying out on these options, especially something like AMC. But historically, that is it's in alignment. I'd say by like Monday or Tuesday, if we're still tinkering around like between like $8 and $9, I consider rolling. But even with AMC, I do believe as far as like taking out options and stuff like that, but I wouldn't go, especially at these prices, I would be more heavy on the actual share count than options. I do believe in options. I'm a big options fanatic, but something like AMC, I would go more aggressively on shares than actual options like this. I believe in having some, because you can obviously leverage, but putting like thousands and thousands of dollars in options, you'll be come out better buying shares. So probably like a 60-40 approach, a 75-25 approach would be better in my opinion. Good to see you live. Thank you. Hello. Let's see. For Doge, yeah. Well, we looking at we hit the support level as far as for we broke the support level around 6 cent, and it's big. It's big. The market between 5 and 6 is its widest correction period. So I wouldn't say we broke to a new low, because technically we've only broken below like that 5 cent when we got that rejection one time, right? And we've had 3 attempts after that to get down to that point, and we have not been, well, not we, but shorts have not been successful at doing so. So I wouldn't say that we go to a new low each time. I think that Doge is doing relatively well, holding its own at the between like that 5 and 6 mark. It's actually doing pretty well, even with shorts, spiking up dramatically. So I think that's doing pretty good. Where's your outlook on Apple with the pre-orders beginning tomorrow? Do you see it going on a little run? Yeah, and let me just put this out there for Apple. I am long Apple. Apple is up there with my Microsoft, my Amazon. I think Apple is outside of like a global war, and even then, I believe they still be making chips and stuff. I think that Apple is going to probably be like the world's first like $10 trillion company. Like I think Apple is just a staple in the market. They're innovative and the things that they're doing, even when it comes down to like their leasing programs and stuff that they're unveiling soon, as far as for like phones and stuff. I think that that's just going to literally just line their pockets, and the company's just going to be really, really strong. So I do believe it's possible for Apple to go on a run, absolutely. And I'm just really long on Apple, so I think that we're going to see Apple appreciate greatly. I'd say over the next 5 years for sure. Tim Cook is amazing. He certainly carried on the vision of Steve Jobs, so I'm very bullish on Apple, absolutely. More negative news with Elon Musk lawsuit. I have to check in with that. I didn't. I had a lot going on today. I didn't check in with the. I didn't know there was like a new lawsuit going on. I'll have to check in with that and kind of catch up. Thoughts on Ethereum price action up to the merge? I'd say just in case, because if you see some of the articles that got sent out by some platforms and some brokers, they said that you're probably not going to be able to trade. So even if there is some, I'll say some panic or volatility going on, you're not going to be able to get in or out. From what I understand, I know Robinhood sent out that ledger. I haven't heard about some of the other platforms, but I know Robinhood sent out some information. But I do believe that Ethereum is, I think, because I know we've seen some articles saying that Ethereum is going to decline, or it'll still be top 10, but it's maybe not hold like a number 2 to Bitcoin and stuff like that. I think that outside, if you're watching my older videos, I mentioned like the crypto consolidation. I think that Ethereum has its place as far as it being, if Bitcoin is gold, Ethereum will kind of be like, I want to say like silver, right? They will say like Doge is money for like everyday things and stuff like that. But silver has more use cases than gold. Like silver is used in like my computer that I'm talking on right now, my cell phone. It's just I think that Ethereum will appreciate greatly, even like through the merge and stuff like that. I saw Vitalik said that everything was going like smoothly, so I think that. But no, let's take a look at it. But I do think that Ethereum will appreciate, even if it does, if there's some volatility around the merge, I'm not sure, but I think afterwards it will certainly appreciate it. Yeah, so we're at 1664, 1644.30 right now. This is for 1424, gap down. Yeah, so we're even here. We got some green candles going up, so we're not even threatening a. So I'd say if you're worried about some break to the downside, I wouldn't be concerned until around like 1438 or so. Why? Because we have 2 consecutive periods for gap downs here. Or excuse me, not gap down. We have a gap down and a gap up. So if we do get a breakdown due to volatility or some type of sell-off or whatever, at around, I say, let's see. Yeah, I say 1430, 1438, within that range, we could see another breakdown, but it normally catches support at around 1,000 or so. But that's if something caused panic or something. But as of right now, you're still a few $100s above that. But if you're worried about getting a breakdown, that's a range I look for. But I'm very bullish on Ethereum as well. So I think that As long as we don't have like a panic or get dropped down to around like the next $200 to around that 1430 range, I think we'll be okay. Is Elon lawsuit going to affect Doge? I gotta catch up. I'm actually not familiar with what's going on with the lawsuit, so I don't want to speak on that because I've actually had a lot going on today. So I think I'll speak on that once I get caught up. I actually am not sure about the new lawsuit you guys are asking about. Just want to say, I hope Matt Wallace shuts down his YouTube channel. Hey, yo. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'm not sure. Where would Doge be in 2035? Wow. Okay. Yeah. So we'll have a few cycles under our belt by 2035. I think that we'll have an increase in utility. I think that the majority of the crypto coins, especially the ones that were knockoffs of Dogecoin, I think they will no longer exist. And I think that we'll see Doge higher in the top 10. It is the biggest thing that we're pushing for even now in the short term is utility. And I think that as we grow and the market consolidates, we're going to see more adoption across the board. Because as of right now, you have just even though there's some businesses that are actually accepting crypto, if you look at the grand scheme of things, it's actually like a very small minority. But I think that as crypto in general just gets more like exposure, and you see that, oh, okay, this is not just something that's going to go away. We'll have those coins that get adoption, and then you'll see that people are not willing to trade, their Bitcoin or their, Ethereum and stuff like that. And then Doge will have its place in that monetary system. But where would Doge be? Price wise, that's kind of hard to gauge. I'll say I don't believe it'll be 6 cents. I can say that much, but I think we'll see some great appreciation over the next few cycles. But I do think, in general, as far as where it will be, I think it will be probably, I'll say maybe like 5 to 7 in top 10. Yeah, especially if we get the utility with some of the major business and stuff. I think that with Elon, and I think because my biggest thing is for gauging utility here in the short term is going to be what happens with the Twitter situation. And I know that people talk about a lawsuit. I'm not sure if it's pertaining to Twitter or anything. I have to check into it. But if that goes through, then it's checkmate, probably even before 2035. So I'm still bullish on Dogecoin. If anything changes, I'll let you know. I'm still holding my Dogecoin, and I'm still very optimistic about the future. Just Doge one mission. I'm not sure. I have to check up on that. Actually, because they kept changing the date so much, I kept hearing so much hearsay. I just waited on something more official, maybe if Elon says something, I'll take it at word for them. But it was just so much speculation, and it's this day, it's this date, it's this date. So I also said I'll, when official documentation comes out from a reliable source, that's when I'll speak on it again. So I'm actually not sure. Let's see, David, been gone a while, so it's good to catch you live. Is your future outlook on Doge still bright for 2023 and beyond? Absolutely, absolutely. I'm still optimistic on Doge. If anything changes, I'll let you know for sure. But I'm still optimistic for the future of Dogecoin. Most lawsuits a joke. They're trying to suck money just for the sake of getting some money for free. I can believe that. Will Doge chain increase utility for Doge? I'm not sure how I feel about Doge chain because to me it looks kind of scammy, to be honest with you. I'm not completely set on what I feel about Doge chain. Maybe there can be some consolidation period, but as of right now, it looks really scammy to me. So I'm not touching it. You still think Doge can actually get to $1? If so, how? Doge will get to $1 through utility. On a massive scale. I think that if it's in if it's through utility, not only will it reach $1, but it'll be stable and not just based off of hype and pumping the coin. That's one of the reasons why when people say stuff about like Doge One and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool. It'll be great for people to see the coin rise and stuff. But if people waited until the Doge One to invest in the coin, more than likely those are going to be traders, and they're going to sell out of there just as fast, if not faster, than what they invested in initially. So it's not something that's sustainable that I'll count as a long-term win for Dogecoin. So it's just something you got to be careful about, because you'll start, even if it did hit something like a 50 cent or something, and it they start pulling out, I won't say people will relive what happened like last year, but it'll just look like it's just the extreme volatility side. So I think that we should, for the most part, that's great press run and stuff like that for the coin, but for longevity purposes, the best thing we can focus on is utility. Let's see. Hey, David, can you send me the link for the Discord, please? It's in my description section for the Discord. Let's see. I'll post it here. I just posted it in the chat. So David, great to see you, bud. Let's say it goes parabolic to about $3. Where would you feel comfortable pulling money out, if not at all? It depends on the reasons that it's going parabolic. If it's hype or something like that, or if it was, I don't know, it just really depends on like the reasoning behind it. Because if it's, I won't say like sustainable, but it depends, because timing also, like if it just goes parabolic and it hits $3 in 2 weeks or something like that, I don't believe it'll sustain that price. But if it's through like utility and expansion, or if we're talking about after the market consolidates or something, then certainly at around, I'd say like $1.50 to $2. But and the thing about it is, even when you look at it, because that's one reason why I say I'm bullish on Dogecoin's like development and stuff, is because if we're saying that it's going to be a currency and being used, then there could be, depending on where that utility is, would it be necessary to pull money out? Because technically, if we're measuring it in dollars, then we have to see, okay, what is the comparison to it being like an actual currency? Because if it's appreciated in value, and Dogecoin has the ability to be traded into something that I'm already using, let's say, like an Amazon, or I'm able to use it at Walmart or something like that, then there'll be no need for me to pull money out. I can take my appreciation, but my appreciation will just be in Dogecoin. I can just spend my Dogecoin. So it just really just depends off of what catalyst led us to the $3 mark. Via Patreon. Yeah, the link for Discord. Yeah, send me a message on Patreon, and I'll send you a link. I'll generate a link for you. I'll do it as soon as I'm done with this live. Okay, so I see your message now. So yeah, so just send me a link just send me a message, and it's on Patreon, and I'll send you a link for the Discord. Let's see. So David, did you see the increase of Doge usage on BitPay? I think it's 11% of their transactions now. Yeah, I saw some articles about the spikes in usage, and even the removal of Dogecoin from brokers and stuff like that. No, we're definitely headed in the right direction. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So this is one of the reasons, is like evidence that we're doing well as a community and holding together. So, and the biggest thing of evidence I like is when we are looking at the price action and we don't see those massive breakdowns without shorts entering the market. That lets me know that the community is in holding, and it's not just, just like you'll see like articles and stuff like that. Oh, fear shifts the market and massive sell-off and stuff like that. But then we go check the charts and we see that it's shorts, and we don't get those breakdowns without spikes in shorts. So that lets me know that the community is holding. When I see increase in transactions, that lets me know that we're heading in the right direction. When I see the amount of coins held on brokerages declining and stuff like that, that lets me know that we're heading in the right direction. So this is all great news as far as for the longevity of the coin. So some meathead is suing Elon for every penny because he mentions Doge on Twitter. Wow. Yeah, I'll look into it. I don't want to say too much, but I'm not surprised at that. People will try and use, any catalyst, not catalyst, but any excuse to extract money. So I have to look into it before I can speak for sure. But that in itself does not surprise me. Some thoughts on the Fed crashing the markets. I don't think we have hit the bottom yet. From what I heard, that we're going to do another 0.75 basis point hike, and I do think that will have a negative effect on the market. Last we heard at the official Fed meeting and stuff, I know Powell was not necessarily doing his victory lap, but he was saying that we were going to be at 0.25 by the end of the year. And at the Jackson Hole or whatever thing was, he did not reaffirm those thoughts. And now we're hearing rumors of a 0.75. So that in itself can remove some of the bullishness that was placed into the market after that meeting. So it's very likely that we have not seen the bottom. What price do you think Ethereum will be after the full merge? Where can it reach? I don't know about directly after the full merge, but I do believe that we're going to see Ethereum over 10K. What's the exact date on the moon launch? I'm not sure. I stopped following after they started, honestly after but after there were so many misconceptions about when it was going to launch. When I hear something official or Elon says something, that's when I'll take it as true. I've seen some things on their website and stuff like that. It's supposed to be, I think, first quarter next year, but I'm not sure the exact date just yet. What's up, David? Could you explain one more time what does it mean when Doge follow the crypto market herd, as in ups, downs, why or how? Well, that's a loaded question, but I'll say the most common reason you'll see this is, even if it has nothing to do with the shorts, you'll see sell-offs or rebalances institutionally. So let's say, we saw the other day, we saw shorts spike up in Bitcoin, but shorts actually decreased in Doge, yet Doge still fell below 6 cents. And we know that most of the money in the market is done by computers, algorithm. So if you see if a fund or if an algorithm says that, okay, hey, we dumped some Bitcoin because it fell below our risk threshold or something like that, and what it does is it's going to rebalance the portfolio. So it's not going to say that, let's say it wants to hold 40% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, and then it just works its way through the top 10. And then, something happens, Bitcoin has a sell-off, shorts hit Bitcoin really hard, it falls below a threshold. It says, hey, we're taking on some risk here. Let's cut our losses. Let's make a re-entry. So you'll see Bitcoin fall 18,000. And then you're going to see all the other ones do a similar pattern. This is technically something that you would call rebalancing. So you would see the computer say that we're too heavy. We got rid of the Bitcoin, but now we're too heavy in Ethereum. We're too heavy in Cardano. We're too heavy in, Polkadot, Dogecoin, whatever. We're too heavy. So they'll dump those coins as well to rebalance their portfolio. So you'll see the symbols almost do the exact same pattern across the market. And the reason that is because of the institutional money overall, it outnumbers retail money in the market. So this is why you can see some patterns here start tracing almost identical, even with Dogecoin. Yes, Dogecoin has a higher number of retailers involved in the coin, but when it comes down to actual dollar amount, it is the market's still controlled by big money. Especially now we have low volume in the coin, so that's why if shorts hit it really hard, you'll see some fluctuation. If it comes back in and becomes real aggressive, you'll see a spike up. But typically, that's how that rebalancing works. Let's see here. Can Dogecoin regulate itself, meaning set regulations for use of its coin? If so, Dogecoin needs to be penalized with short ones where it's not worth it to short the coin. Um, I don't know. Well, Dogecoin in itself, as far as like the DAOs and stuff, or it being free trading in the market, technically it can't regulate itself unless it was more also like on like a private chain. But as long as most of the coins are held on like a Robinhood and these other brokerages and stuff like that, they technically can lend it out. So yeah, and then Dogecoin in itself doesn't have control over those assets or those brokerages and what they do to make money with the coin. So that's more so at that point, it's more so between the retailers and the brokers at that point. So I don't think that Doge is capable of regulating itself in that sense. Yeah, do you think Doge will be top three and the utility would outdo the other crypto? Top three, I doubt it. Because top three, that's not necessarily about utility. That's more so about market cap. And so even right now, for Doge to get to $1, we're looking at around 135 billion. If the market gets back to where it was, which I do believe it will, which is around $3 trillion, that would mean Doge is, I don't know what, it's definitely over 300, maybe like 300. For $3, it would have to be like 390 billion. So what are we talking, like 10% of the entire crypto market? And yeah, that would have to be like massive utility. And I'm talking about like maybe like 1 in 5 households or something like that is using Dogecoin, or there's a massive the community has grown dramatically and they're not converting back into dollars. Because when you see things like this and saying Doge being top three or hitting $3 and stuff like that, you'll see it's going to take a large amount of people not only using the coin but keeping money inside the coin. Because as long as people are talking about taking profits and converting it back to dollars, it's counterintuitive. So it's not, utility is a big part of it, but it also comes down to, on the other side of utility, it's just that, okay, what percentage of people are actually going to hold inside Dogecoin? That's the other side of it. So, and if the utility is there, people will feel comfortable holding the Dogecoin. So they kind of play off of each other. But, and I do believe that we're going to go up from 3 trillion. I'd say maybe like 5 to 7. I guess so. Let's see with massive utility, but top three would be, I think, will be a stretch. Let's see here. If AMC or GME go crazy, that money will go directly into Dogecoin because the government system is broke. Yeah, I do think a lot of people will come back into the crypto market. So I do think that those plays squeeze and stuff like that. I do think there'll be a massive reinvestment into the crypto space. Absolutely. Let's see if you explain the Ethereum halving as a merge will create. What's that about? I heard it'll double, triple halving. Well, from what I understand, even the halving is a part of it, but from what I understand, it slows down the mint rate of Ethereum as well. I think that's where most of the price action comes into, because if you look at, because technically Ethereum has a unlimited supply, right? It's like Dogecoin, but Dogecoin is minted at a much faster rate. So the theory is, even if we kept, like, let's use Doge for example. If we kept the same amount of pressure, of buying pressure in Dogecoin, but we slowed down because of some merge or whatever, but we slowed down the mint rate, what would that mean for price action? And supply and demand says that price action would, it would go up dramatically. So I think that's the primary theory behind that. And it's just that it's slowing the mint rate down. So Global is a satellite company that Apple is going to be using for the global positioning service SOS. Do you see that being a good stock to buy long term? Yeah, I guess in the near future. I know Apple technically likes to acquire, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw our own, I mean, not our own, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an Apple satellite or something like that. But in the short term, if Apple's going to be using them, more than likely you can expect some appreciation there. So I'd have to do obviously some more due diligence, but from the sound of it, that sounds like it'll be a good play. No problem. What do you think about what coin will pump the most after the Ethereum merge? I'm not sure. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to put. I just want to throw anything out there. I'm not sure, but I do think that we maybe could see a possible rebalancing again. Maybe they'll want to be a little more heavier than in Ethereum. So it's just, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to guess or throw anything out there. I'm not sure. Will you continue YouTube when you accumulate more than enough wealth? What are your plans with your cash? Maybe more crypto projects. Yeah, I mean, I'll do YouTube as long as people are interested. I'm just sharing what I already do anyway, so it's not, YouTube isn't like a burden to me. It's research and information that I either already know or that I would have found anyway because of my investment. So I don't mind YouTube. So as long as people are interested, I will continue. My plans with my cash, maybe more crypto projects. I'll expand into real estate for sure. Certainly do some expansions on my crypto, because I do think crypto is going to be a really dominant force in the asset classes over the next decade. So I certainly will expand my percentages in crypto, but I do want to expand my real estate portfolio as well. Utility and stability, absolutely. Can Doge be like the future of Western Union? That's a good. I think crypto in general, if we had, once there's platforms and we're able to do, I had this conversation before, once we're able to kind of like trade back and forth, whether that's internationally on different platforms and stuff like that. Even when it comes down to like wallets, it's very possible. I don't see that being far in the future, like a Western Union or even like a Cash App kind of thing. I don't see that being far away, and I do think that will be certainly a huge step in the right direction. So whoever gets that partnership first, like a Western Union or Cash App, because Western Union is just international transactions. Like, so whoever gets that partnership, that'll be huge. But we do need the utility to be there. XLM, what about it? Thanks, David. No problem. Elon. Let's see. If Elon buys Twitter as Doge, as numbers of users goes up to 500 million or so, and they all buy an average of 2K Doge, what then? Yeah, I made a video about this, about Elon buying Twitter and pretty much the users of Twitter using it as a commerce in between. In that regard, we don't have enough Dogecoin at this point. I think that if if I did the math right, if it was, I think if everybody had like $50 or something like that in Dogecoin, we'd run out. I have to go check. I did all the math and stuff, but the amount of Dogecoin that we have at 135 billion coins roughly, it's actually not a lot, especially at this price range if we're talking about using it as a currency. So if we did face mass adoption in a very quick time frame, it would put a strain on the supply of coins actually. So we'd actually run out of Dogecoin. So what the price would look like at that point, I have no idea. You know, that would be my idea of Dogecoin going parabolic. Let's see if it was, if was a fifth. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Let's see, can Doge merge with other coins? Like if Texas merged with Louisiana, will that make the coin stronger? Maybe Dogecoin will start merging with a lot of other coins. What do you think? I don't know what it's all about merging. You can certainly do some bridges, but I don't know about like merging. Kind of like the Doge and the Ethereum bridge. That can certainly be helpful, absolutely, and that would technically give the coin more use cases, make it stronger. But it can certainly create some bridges to other coins. But I'm not sure about how a merge would work. Do you see crypto doing good by the end of the year or bloodbath? I think that this year going into next year will kind of be like a consolidation period where we'll kind of, I won't say trend sideways, but I don't expect any huge movements as of right now. That even the last time on the relief rally, I was hoping we got the 10 cents, so maybe we could establish that as our next level of our next floor. But we weren't able to, make it. But I don't see any huge movements until we for sure have inflation down. And one CPI report going in the right direction is not, and it's not indicative that we're out of the turmoil. It's a big gap between 8% and 3%. So we still have a ways to go. Will a burn tax help Doge like AMC? I guess theoretically, I just don't know if the devs would ever do it, but I guess theoretically, yeah, it could. Let's see. I'll take a couple more. Back to my previous question about the Fed market crash. Any predictions on when we see the bottom and how low Doge could go? Even as far as like the bottoms, because historically the bottoms can, I do believe that the percentage that something like a Bitcoin can correct is a lot greater than Doge. I think Doge is more closer to max pain. But as far as for the Feds crashing the market, we still going to go down like quite a bit. Again, like I was saying a few minutes ago, we don't have evidence, at least strong evidence of a trend of the declining CPI numbers or inflation and stuff like that. And if they bump up to 0.75 again, and they change their approach of us being at 0.25, that means that they're already seeing signs of inflation being a little bit more stubborn to come down. So that can certainly remove some of the bullishness that we've seen in the market, or even us just kind of trending sideways until we get further information. Once that's confirmed that what was said is no longer the case, we can actually see a continuation of a decline at that point. So I think I won't say that 5 cents is for sure going to hold up, but things have to get pretty bad for us to break below it. Because even now, it's taking massive short pressure and stuff to even get us to break below 6, and it's the second they let off, we pop right back up. But yeah, I'll say that 5, and even when we touched 4 briefly, I think that's going to be really a tough level for us to break down through. So as of right now, I think that those are, it's pretty safe to call those the bottom. Let's see, how can AMC go? If you don't know, then what's an educated guess? How can AMC go? I'm assuming at how high can AMC go? Theoretically, if you're looking at price of supply and demand, it can go extremely high. But the thing is, we've never seen these plays go without the switch being flicked or the having the rug pulled from underneath it. So AMC can go if it was based off of supply and demand. Even now at these levels, it would be dramatically higher. But the question is, how high can it go before they pull the plug on it? That's the real question. So I don't know, but I definitely think it can. Even if they don't pull it extremely early, I definitely believe that you could see something like 4 figures, 3 for sure, easily. But anything after that, I think we're going to start seeing some tricky stuff and some manipulation. So I just say just be careful if you're holding for higher numbers. Let's see. Do you think Elon will ever full on accept Doge for buying Tesla cars? If so, what do you think it's in Doge price? My daughter said hi. They're watching. Oh, thank you. Tell your daughter I said hello. So do I think fully accepting Tesla for Tesla cars? I don't see. I think the Tesla is accepting Doge for even their cars is great for like marketing. I think that it is, but I don't think that it will have a dramatic effect on price for the coin, because I think that the majority of Dogecoin holders, they, just from my experience, even on the channel, the majority of Dogecoin holders can't afford a Tesla. So the people that are buying Tesla are not necessarily people who are invested in Dogecoin at this moment. So maybe later down the line, it can have a dramatic effect, which is why I say when people say, what do you want for utility for Doge? I say I want something like Twitter or Amazon or like a Walmart, something that more of the common people can have access to and the ability to take advantage of. Because it's in my belief that the majority of Dogecoin holders can't buy a Tesla in Doge, cash, pesos, whatever. I just think that it's out of reach for most of the Dogecoin holders. So I don't think it'll have a dramatic effect on price at the moment. So I hope that makes sense. All right, I'll take these last 3 questions here. Let's see. Well, let me ask a different way. How would adding Doge to Twitter help it spike? What's the potential? Well, adding it to Twitter and it becoming the currency of Twitter, as far as for tipping or buying services, badges, all that kind of stuff like that. When you have coins that are being removed from brokers and it's sitting in people's accounts or their wallets, that drains the supply, right? So the lower the supply gets, that's less coins that's being exchanged, that's less coins that the brokers are sitting on, lending out, shorting and stuff like that. That's, I won't say it's basic supply and demand, but it kind of is. It's just draining the overall supply, just like that buying pressure. Because when you buy a coin, you sell a coin, you're kind of having that tug of war on price action. But when you see, hundreds of millions, billions of coins leave these brokerages and they don't return back to the brokerages, and you always have to say, okay, well, we have like a float of 135 billion. And it's like, well, how many coins are available to be purchased? And it was like, well, out of 135 billion, there's only 20 billion available to purchase. The other 115 billion is being held. That's the price of the coin is going to be astronomically high, because now as the coins are being extracted, they're becoming rare to be purchased. So it just kind of plays off of supply and demand. So that's what would happen with something like a Twitter, or really any mass level of utility. Let's see. Thanks, David, for the work you do. I know this is irrelevant to Doge, but AMC, can it squeeze? I do. I believe that it can squeeze. I believe that it should have squeezed a long time ago, to be honest with you. But yes, I believe that. Funny how we don't know if the 8 shares we're holding are real or Gacy. Yeah, I mean, they're probably fake. I mean, to be honest with you, most of my AMC shares are fake. I think the only real AMC shares I have are the ones that I purchased last like January, February. The majority of my shares, I believe, are synthetic. I believe that for sure. Okay, so been on roughly about 50 minutes. I want to turn this into a movie. I just want to take a few questions, talk with you guys. Like the video, share it. I appreciate you guys for jumping on. If you want to trade with me, I do have my my Patreon available. We can trade together. Other than that, thank you guys for supporting the channel, tuning in with me, chatting with me, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you all have a great night, and I will post the link to that in the chat section. All right. Have a good night, guys.